live on a Friday, March 16th, 2018. I'm your host, the big man on campus. Get you ready here for day 2 of March Madness. We'll hit that and more here on Friday morning. Donnie Rightside, how you doing today?
Doing good. Day two. Hey, yes, interesting day one. Had some upsets yesterday, massive upsets. A lot of these games, Jeff, whether you're looking at a blowout game, depending on the point spread, a lot of these came back to neutral. And maybe at the end of the game, I know you were checking out that Kansas game, Jeff, came down to a late three-pointer that went in or out. A lot of these games, razor sharp lines yesterday. Impressive and fun day.
Yeah, I don't it was a pretty fun day, but I mean, it's not fun for most people that, we're filling out brackets. We'll get into that and more here in a little bit. Welcome in to everyone out there listening. As always, hit the like button, retweet the show if you're out there. It's a great way to get it out to people that might not know about it. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Hope you enjoy it. Yeah, I mean, just like the show. Comment in the chat. We have a little chat box for you, as you know. Comment on that, and we'll have some fun here today on a Friday, right before the weekend. Let's shout out some people here. What do we got here? Greg, Derek, Emza, Giorgio, Cam, Paco, Nelson, David, Greg, G-Man, Cal Bear, Brad, Justin, Scott. Welcome in. Are we crushing the pitch today? No, there's not really any soccer today, so no, will not be. Uh, Donnie, let's get into the headlines here this morning. Got a lot to do here and very little time to do it. What are we going to start with here? Tom Crean heading to Georgia. This is a guy I'd like to have seen at Temple University, but unfortunately they have a coach, and they weren't going to go out and get Tom Crean. But Tom Crean back into college coaching. You didn't think it'd be very long. Tom Crean, a guy that had a lot of success with Indiana. Maybe his firing there wasn't maybe warranted for what he had done over the years, but Georgia going to finalize a deal to bring him in. Mark Fox takes over. He takes over from Mark Fox, who, look, Donnie is just a regular Georgia coach. He was very average. Didn't really ever win anything. They needed a change to go out and get John and Jim Harbaugh's brother-in-law.
Yeah, no, I thought it was a really good move down there because Tom Crean going there, upgrade from Mark Fox, Jeff. What you want to keep is those athletes in state down there. And we know about Georgia. They're not going to have any shame, Jeff. They're going to lay out money. What do you get, Jeff? 6 years, almost $20 million. So they're going to put forward an effort to have a real basketball team down in Georgia. Should be fun. Look at the resurgence, Jeff, of the SEC and the head coaches that are now coming into the league. Well, it's once thought to be the only football conference out there. Now is making an entry into a pretty damn good basketball conference.
Tom Crean, went to the Sweet 16 three different times in 6 years. And, look, most universities would consider that a success. Indiana didn't. He didn't, he was about 55% in his career at Indiana. But, look, I think he's a good coach. I think he'll do fine things at Georgia. We'll just give him some time here. And I think, that's a team obviously you got to worry about going forward. I mean, they've kind of had just like Deontay Maton lately and everyone else. He needs to put his guys in there, but he'll be fine. He's a good coach. He's done some good things, so we'll see how he does down in the SEC. What is now for Arizona? That's a great question. That's a question I think I'm about to answer here for you because um, we'll get into the game, okay? And look, the game itself, they lost. I had them winning the national title. What are you going to do? Just how it goes sometimes. I get losing, I guess. I mean, everyone loses. 13s beat fours, but and look, I mean, Buffalo was a pretty good fourth or 13th seed, but I don't get losing by 21. And I ask myself going forward now, look, why not just part ways with Sean Miller at this point? I mean, obviously, there's things negatively going on with him, or maybe there isn't. I don't know. We'll guess that there is. Let's just say the way he runs his program, it's hard to envision that he doesn't know of something going on there. But that's not the point. The point is going forward, you have a shitstorm around your program that happened because of Book Richardson and the transgressions he made for the season. Your whole team's leaving. No one's coming back. They're all going to the NBA or they're seniors. Jackson Cartwright, Alkins, Pinder, Trier, they're all gone. Ayton, everybody's gone. You got no recruits coming in. Ayton's gone, or Sharif O'Neal's gone. Everybody else is gone. They've all decided to leave the program. You're going to be Cal next year, Donnie. That's the truth of the matter. Arizona basketball's last run, if they had any run, was last night. They're not going to win for a lot of years now. And it sucks because they're a program that you would think is going to be there. But they're not. And you have to ask yourself with Sean Miller, is what he's done enough? He's won 77% of his games. He's been to the Elite Eight 3 times, been to the Sweet 16 twice, but he's never been to the Final Four. With that amount of talent, with that amount of high success, with that amount of great players, I mean, this guy's put 15 players into the NBA and a couple with Xavier. But you have to ask yourself, at what point do you say, you know what, we're going to cut our losses here? I mean, now would be
He's
probably
going
the
to
time to do
get
it.
Yeah, he's going to get buried. And, all the smoke that was coming out, there is going to be a massive fire. But here's the difference now from what you're going to have, Jeff. In any program that you have, whether it's Alabama football, Miami football, big boosters, here's what takes place. You rally around the coach. Why? Because you see the talent that's now coming back to make a run late in the season. They won the Pac-12 tournament heading into the March Madness. Everybody's rallying. We're going to make this run. We'll worry about everything later, but let's circle the wagons. Let's keep the head coach. Let's keep all the players on the court, and we'll see what happens. Now that they get dropped round one, you know what happens, Jeff? Those big money boosters that said, you know what? I'll put in an extra $1 million so we get the absolute best legal team to fight the NCAA and to fight the FBI. The administration circles the wagons and says, you know what, Sean Miller? You are our guy. We're going to stand behind you. Maybe if you made a run to the Final Four or the final, because you're going to look for basketball going forward. Now that he lost round one in an embarrassing fashion, those boosters now pull out. Now all of a sudden they take a second look at what's going to take place with the head coach, because those boosters who call all the shots go, you don't fire him. I'm not giving you $3 million to help build that new science building on campus. Or I'm not giving you $6 million to help in your Rich Rodriguez lawsuit there. Now they're going to offer him up as a sacrificial lamb to the wolves and say, show cause him 10 years, FBI. It was all Sean Miller. We were bagged in this one. We had our eyes closed. He took us completely by storm. He ruined our program. Please, here he is right here. Send him to jail. Give him a 10-year show cause so he can't coach again. And maybe we'll postseason ban ourselves for 2 years and then get into it. That's what happens when you don't win, and it's embarrassing. The Wolves are only going to get stronger. You're right, Jeff. All their starting five is gone. They have nobody to replace it. They're going to offer him up as a sacrificial lamb. He is going to get banged. I would be surprised, Jeff, if he makes it the next 3 weeks at Arizona.
I like Sean Miller. I've never had a problem with him. I think he's a good coach. I think he comes from a good lineage of coaches. His father's a coach, his brother's a coach. But, you got to ask. And look, I'm almost just saying this just from a standpoint of, I don't see, I see what he's done, but what has he really done? Because he's not made the Final Four. He's not won the tournament. He's been there 9 years. Next year will be his 10th year if he's there. Look, at a place like Arizona, I think you have to win. And again, it's not only the fact he hasn't won, but he does have things hanging over his head. And look, I mean, there's a whole list of other coaches, and they're not on the list. He seems to be the only one. With the way he runs his program, it's questionable if he didn't know about this. Do I think he handed DeAndre Ayton $100,000? No, I don't. I think that whole thing was not true. But did he know something here? Probably. We'll see what happens. And Donnie, ask yourself, who's ready for day two? Who's ready? I know I'm a little slapped in the face after losing Arizona, but it's only a bracket. It is what it is. You can't. It's funny, Donnie, because I've won 14 games out of the 16, and one of them was Miami, which whatever is what it is. And the other one was Arizona. So I
Yeah.
guess I'm just hoping that Cincinnati or Wichita win the tournament. That would be fine. Or like Tennessee or I don't know who else. Gonzaga maybe. I don't think anyone else has them in the. I don't know. Someone like that. I need Donnie. You think that will happen? Maybe Bucknell. Maybe they could win. I'd like
Yeah,
that.
it's funny. Like you're looking at that because I think I had Arizona making it to the Elite Eight, but it wasn't that high on them. I actually, picked up not it wasn't even a dark horse like Cincinnati. Actually, I believe getting to the Final Four. So I actually liked Arizona going down because that's a bad matchup for Cincinnati. But yeah, I mean brackets exploded yesterday. Most people had Arizona winning. Congratulations if you picked Buffalo. That means you probably picked 19 other upsets yesterday and barely even won 3 or 4 games. But you won your Buffalo game, and you want to let everybody know that you did win your Buffalo game. But it was fun. We'll get to that game in just a few moments. But yeah, day one. I mean, I sat here watched from 12 o'clock all the way through midnight last night, trying to set up games for today. Enjoy it. A lot of close games, buzzer beating situations, all-star talent out there. I had a lot of fun yesterday, and you just wake up again, Jeff, and you do it all over again today. Good stuff.
Um, is your bracket contest available for viewing? I don't think there's reason to view it at this point. What does it matter? Who cares?
They want to
It's
root you
not going to
on,
win
baby.
it.
They want to root you on. They want to root you on out there.
Well, that's good, but I don't really. I'm not. I'm done with it at this point. When the person wins, I'll send them the money. That's that. What do we got here? Does anyone think Trier's an NBA player? Yes, second round. Settle down, Donnie. All right, settle down, Donnie. Uh, Donnie, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention Tiger Woods. What are your thoughts on Tiger?
Yeah,
You
I
know
don't
he's
know. I
ready.
saw here's the best part about it. Like Tiger starts early in the morning yesterday, and why people are watching golf yesterday, I mean, I'll just have no idea, or today or tomorrow, or even on Sunday with the college basketball going on. But I saw the retweets and the 71-foot putts, and everybody was loving it. Tiger, this. But then Jeff, I started noticing like from 2 o'clock to like 7 o'clock, there wasn't any retweets. So I'm like, hey, man, maybe Tiger's in first place, and everybody's happy and content. Then I just take a look at the leaderboard as it comes across the screen. It's like 4 or 5 shots back already. Like, is Tiger back again? And then I see the odds, and it's criminal. It's criminal,
Well, he
Jeff.
did shoot
He's still.
68.
I don't. It doesn't matter. If he shoots 68, it happens if somebody shoots 54, but Tiger shot 50,
Well, that's not
68.
his.
It doesn't matter.
Well, I know, but that's not his fault. I mean, he did what he had to do. Played,
Yeah,
shot
he does
well,
what he did. What
shot
he had to
smart.
do. He's 5 shots back. Maybe even makes the cut in this tournament down at Arnie's. But again, he's still second in odds to win the tournament. Las Vegas, look. I have a PSA for you. I'm going to call the feds on you because stealing people's money like this is just outrageous. Tiger's true odds, not plus 300, not plus 400. It should be like plus 10,000 to win this tournament. It's unfair. We need regulation in Las Vegas and with the odds makers to stop cheating the Tiger Woods crowd. They shouldn't be getting 350 back here, folks. They should be getting 1,000 plus 1,000 odds back on this. Come on, be at least fair, Vegas.
He's winning this tournament. You'll see on Sunday.
Yes.
Um, this is a great comment here. Buffalo was a no-brainer. Yeah, they were totally.
I love Buffalo. I've
They
watched more Buffalo basketball probably than anybody, but I didn't see that coming. Come on.
name one player, K-Zog, on Buffalo's team, and tell me they were a no-brainer. Get out of here. Buffalo's a hungry dog, and Arizona really didn't care. No, I know. I'm sure they had no interest in the game. Maybe they should have just
No.
not
Yeah.
shown up.
Trier should have
Uh,
sat that one out, and so should have Aiton, right? If they're just going to the pros, I would have just sat
yeah,
out, right?
yeah, exactly. Uh, Anthony Sorrow. This guy hates you, Donnie, with your comments on Tiger Woods.
Well, I
Everything
mean,
you say,
it
he hates.
hurts. I understand. It's almost like talking
It
about your
hurts.
lovable grandmother. You know what I mean? Like it hurt. It really hurts people. Like when I was growing up, like you're watching your heroes unfold in front of your eyes, and you never want to let that go. Like I love Dan Marino, Jeff, as a kid growing up. I thought he was the reason why I wore number 13 my entire career. But at some point, like when he's like 43 or 44 years old, like I don't think he's coming back to play for the Dolphins. It's okay to see him ride in the sunset, have fun, and just say, hey, you know what? I just want to play golf for the fun of it. Play some pro-ams out there, do something. It hurts. It hurts a lot of people.
We move on here to the March Madness recap of day one. So we'll move that little lever down there. Johan, move that down there, boss. There we go. Uh, we'll start with Arizona. Let's just get them out of the way here. Lose by 21. Okay, in a first round game to a 13 seed, you lose by 21 points. Uh, Again, I understand, maybe you don't win or you have a little trouble, but you lose outright by 21. You only score 68 points against Buffalo, not a particularly good defensive team. You're 2 for 18 from three. DeAndre Ayton, Donnie, didn't have enough touches around the rim. I mean, for the life of me, I won't get why they don't just give him the ball and go let him score. I'd give him the ball every single play.
It's a great
Hey,
passer too, Jeff. When you dump it down, you have to have 3 guys on him, and it's easy kick out 3. You're right.
agreed. I don't understand why they screw around with everything else. I mean, just throw him the ball and let him score. I mean, he would have scored 30 points easily. You would have stayed in the game. You probably would have won, and everybody's happy. But even him, if he scores 30, I mean, I think they still lose. Trier didn't play well. Ristich and Aiton were the only ones that really did anything. The rest of the supporting cast, Alkins is a good defender, but he didn't defend well. Their dribble penetration defense was terrible. And this is one of the reasons I took the over. Even the over, Donnie, they scored 78 points in the first half.
Yeah, yep. Yep. No,
Game
you know
stays.
what? I knew you were on this play, Jeff, and it's one of those things where, again, I'm not going to contact you. I'm not even going to make any like. You don't even want to see my subtweets on Twitter, like say, like, "Ooh, what a great pace," because you know I'm probably aiming that at you. I'm sitting here watching it downstairs, Jeff, and the game's on. I'm like, Jeff nailed this. Jeff, they were sprinting up and down the court for the first 15 minutes, and at the half, I'm like, there's no way that this team is going to slow down their pace. And if you would have said at the end, Jeff, is Buffalo going to approach 90 points? You probably had your easiest basketball win of the season. I can't believe that game did not go over the total.
No, I couldn't either. They just I don't know. It just sat. There was one time where the score was like 72-58 for about 3 minutes, and it just never moved. But what are you gonna do? Uh, we move on. Arizona, we're not going to see them relevant for a while. You can mark that down. Kentucky gets the job done. It wasn't easy though for bettors. Some people lost, some people pushed,
Yeah.
and some people, of course, most people got the 4.5, of course, and they all won.
Yeah, or the four, which was never out there ever to begin with. I saw that
Oh,
floating around
sure,
too.
yeah, yeah. I always love those people that miraculously were the only people. Like I saw a lot of people. I saw a ton of people yesterday at South Dakota State plus 8.5. Where was that line at? Would you get that at your local? Uh, Kansas or Kentucky gets the job done. They actually were in control most of the game. It was one of those late things where Davidson did a couple threes, made it interesting. And the three with 1 second left, obviously, you don't like those. Those obviously suck. And you know what, Donnie? It's interesting. There have been a lot of late heroics, whether it be against the number or just winning the game. It seems like every late shot, man, goes in. And I'm going to get
Yeah,
to
yeah,
the
because
guy
yeah.
yesterday that I'm gonna get to the guy yesterday here in a little bit that I gotta ask what the fuck was he doing? But yeah, Kentucky gets the win. They were just bigger, stronger, and faster than
Yeah.
not Penn.
No, yeah.
They,
I thought it was a tough matchup overall for Davidson. Just to start with in that game, but you're right. The length did it, and Davidson's going to fight back because they're going to eventually make shots, which they did. But somebody in the chat box brought up, I mean, it was Cam. I can't remember who it was, but the actual way this game played out, Jeff, at the end, this was a stone cold Kentucky easy cover and a stone cold under. Like, I mean, just cruising out. It didn't matter if they fouled a little bit; you were still going to be able to come in. But the key play in this game, Jeff, maybe came about like 50 seconds, maybe around a minute. I can't remember the exact time. But there was a steal by Kentucky, which I believe they were up like 7 or 8 points at this time, and could have just dribbled down the court and like instead of dunking the basketball, veered. Most teams like veer off into the corner, and nobody was going to foul at that point. So he would just dribble the clock out, whatever it was, 30 seconds, 25 seconds. But he goes and dunks it, which then Davidson inbounds the ball, Jeff, and runs up court. And for some inexplicable issue, Kentucky goes for the steal, like around the 3-point line, like a kamikaze, and picks up a foul. And that sets up like another 6 to 7 points, which, again, if you had Kentucky, whether, unless you got the 4 out there, but if you had them at 5, 5.5, 6, which a lot of people did, that game was over. If you bet the under, you won it easy. If you bet Kentucky, you won it easy. But that young kid going in for the dunk to make it like 10 points set off like a 6 or 7 point slam in like the last 25 seconds, which never would have been there. It's amazing because we bitch about it in football. Like, why is the coach going forward? Why did you do this on 4th down or 2-point conversion here? That was unbelievable. Senior laden team, Jeff dribbles it out to the corner. But hey, young kid's got to get his dunk on, right, Jeff?
oh yeah, they definitely do. 39 points for Rob Gray. He scores 39 of the 67 points for Houston. They beat San Diego State. He has a beautiful layup with literally no time left. San Diego State actually had a pretty good look at the three to win the game, but They didn't get it to go down. They had a shot, San Diego State, to win this game. But listen, Rob Gray was fantastic. The rest of Houston wasn't. Now, if they think they're going to move on and play that way against Michigan, they're probably going to lose playing like that. You need more from the rest of the team. No one else was in double figures other than Rob Gray. Gray with 39. Rob Gray, very good, Donnie, but they need more. They can't play like that against Michigan because they'll get run out.
No, you can't do that. I like the way Houston plays. They're going to play defense. They're going to battle. Rob Gray was amazing yesterday, but again, still came down, 1.2 seconds, Jeff? They throw a three-quarter court pass, and he got an unbelievable look at that shot. Similar distance, Jeff, which we're going to talk about in just a few moments from that Loyola Chicago buzzer beater that went in. But a great game overall for your watching. Houston pretty much, Jeff, in control for most of that game. San Diego State was just hanging around within reaching distance and almost caught up to them at the end. Fun game. Rob Gray, 39. Amazing, man. Amazing.
This next game was the other game that I had wrong yesterday, and you know, I don't know what exactly went on over the last 3 minutes for Miami, but I think you got to call into question Jim Larinaga's tendencies. I mean, I don't know. First of all, I got to ask, Connie. Okay, when Lonnie Walker, who had a horrible final 2 minutes, by the way, when he misses the free throw, and by the way, they missed 5 free throws, so that was the difference in the game. So Lonnie Walker misses the free throw. They rebound. Loyola's coming down. They don't call timeout, which is fine. That's their game plan. Can you answer me a question on what exactly the defender was doing that was on Dante Ingram? What exactly was that? First of all, who is that guy? I've never heard of him. Ordenberg. Who the hell is that? And why is he in the game at that time? Seriously. I mean,
I don't know.
where is
No, I don't know. Like, just
what?
you're just saying here, have a wide open look. I mean, like, is that what the
Watch
defensive was like? We don't think they can shoot threes.
watch the play over again. He literally was wide open. There was no one around. I mean, why are we playing not playing man in that situation? And where is the defender? Just
Yeah,
disgust.
what was the reasoning behind it? They were up 1 point, so he's saying there's no way they're going to shoot a three. But even if you get beat off the dribble, Jeff, with Miami, correct me if I'm wrong. You have some pogo sticks down low that are pretty good rim protectors for Miami. I doubt he's going to the rack and getting an easy layup. Just baffling. All you want to do is, Jeff, it's simple defense. Stay close within contact, within hand reach. If he pulls up, raise up your hand and contest it, and he's probably not going to make it. Instead, he gets a wide open look and drains it. Amazing.
I mean, that kid literally looked like he has no idea what he was doing because he was also the kid, Donnie, that on the missed foul shot had like terrible positioning and probably could have rebounded the ball, but he just like he had no idea what he was doing. So then
Oh, it's bouncing up there
okay,
forever.
I'm just saying, watch this defensive. He doesn't even know where he's at. I have to ask Larinaga if I'm at that game and I'm an interviewer or a reporter. What happened there, Jim? I mean, because why was he in the game? I know Lawrence
Yeah,
fell
also,
out, but
yeah.
someone's got to be in there, Hazundu or someone else.
It was, I mean, again, a one-on-one situation at the end of the game. I mean, you have to knock it down, yes, but there still is a lot of pressure. Lonnie Walker's still a young kid, even though he played a whole ACC schedule. You're going to miss those free throws. The one that I got upset with him at, again, I didn't have any money in the game, but I did have Miami in my brackets, is the play where he turns it over and kicks it off his leg. You have to know time and strategy at that point. All you want to do, Jeff, if you're Lonnie Walker, come down, catch the ball, tuck it, because they're coming to foul you on purpose. But, you try to make that play where I want to catch it and run. So maybe if I get by him, we have a breakout dunker. I can waste, an extra 3 to 4 seconds before I get fouled. Just have to know what you're doing because, you fouled there. And correct me I don't know what the actual foul scheme was, whether it was 7, 8, or 9 at that point. But that might have turned into, if that was called a foul there, Jeff, he goes to the line, whether or not he makes it. If they get fouled again when he goes to the line, it might have been a double bonus situation. So he might have had 2, but that's neither here nor there. Just know your time there. Tough last minute, though, for Lonnie Walker, Jeff.
That's why you do not back teams that don't make free throws, and that's been my adherence all year. I don't know why I didn't think about that. That's why you don't do that, and that's why I should have stuck with my original point, and it is what it was. We move on, Donnie, to
Yes.
Colin Sexton.
Yeah.
Another big night for Sexton last night. They outlast in a pretty good game. They outlast Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech. Both these teams, though. Look, Alabama shot the ball well. High scoring game. Um, kind of obvious. And I guess you know what, Donnie, they were right last night. Your boy, what's his
First to
name?
100, he was almost there.
Yeah,
Yes.
he
Yeah.
was almost there. He actually looks like a genius. He'll go back and tell his kids that, look, guys, listen, I was almost right here. Look, I was
Yep.
right. Everyone thought it'd go under, and I had it way, way over. But yeah, nice night last night from him. 25 points. They move
All in the
on.
second half too. That's what you need out of your players, man. That's what you didn't get. I mean, Trey Young, which I don't even know if we have him up on the. Yeah, we'll talk about him next. This was the opposite. You get a little bit of foul trouble in the first half. You play sporadically, and then you let it go in the second half, Jeff. When you needed a big shot, you needed a big play. Colin Sexton provided that, and that's what he's supposed to do. I lost that game yesterday. I had Virginia Tech -2 in that game. They shot very well, but in the second half, it was clear the better, more athletic team won that game, even though there was a late foul call that was an offensive charge, which could have been an N1. It was a 50-50 call, didn't go their way, but it wasn't one of those games, Jeff, where I'm going to be like, God damn it, I lost Virginia Tech. They should have won that ball game. Alabama was just a little bit better in that game, and that's just the way it is.
The Chicago Tribune, Donnie, put out a good article about Oklahoma, and the title read, Trey Young takes a final bow on a stage Oklahoma didn't deserve. And that was really so true, poignant in its context. They didn't belong in this tournament. And I want to shout out to Oklahoma in general for failing their star player. I thought they were hideous all season. I don't know if they quit. I've heard rumors that the team was sick and tired. They were sick and tired of Trey Young. They wanted to be involved more. Where all fucking year you had the opportunity. Back when Trey Young was killing it and you guys were killing it, they continued to play poorly defensively. I blame the rest of this team. Trey Young scored 28 points yesterday. Did anyone else do
And
anything?
gave him the lead
Did anyone?
late. And gave him the
Right.
lead. Yeah.
Did anyone else score? I think there might have been one or two guys, but all year this team has failed around him. It's not his fault. I mean,
Jeff, they
they
were an at-large bid. At-large bid finished the season, Jeff, 19-14. An at-large bid. Not we won our conference championship. We're here 19-14. They finished as an at-large. That's embarrassing for the NCAA.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know what happened here. I don't know what this team and why it was so difficult all year. I mean, look, I could get a game or two, but for many years, I mean, the whole year, this team around Trey Young just failed time and time and time again. Does Trey Young shoot the ball a lot? Yeah, but he's the only player that is any good on this team. I mean, a definite fail by the committee to put this team in, and I think they're seeing that now. If they thought that this was going to be Syracuse make a run or something, they played well for most of the game, but no one else stepped up.
Facts, Jeff. We talk about Philly's fine. Before you move on, Jeff, talk about Philadelphia's finest too. Fran Dunphy doesn't rather. Who's the backup? It's who's the small backup point guard for Temple, Jeff?
Lonnie Moore.
Alani Moore. Would you rather have Fats or Alani Moore at this point if you're Fran Dunphy?
Oh yeah, Imhotep, he misses out on that too. Fat Chester goes to Rhode Island instead. Yeah, well, that's Fran Dunphy, but he's a nice guy, Donnie. I mean, that's all that matters. You know. Also, Donnie, wanted to discuss quickly. We didn't get a chance to talk about Penn State. We did talk about Penn State
Yeah, go
beating
ahead.
Devil. We didn't talk
Go ahead.
about this though. Um,
Go ahead.
I saw a lot of these tweets going out about how Penn State owns Philadelphia. Dude, you're closer to fucking Pittsburgh than Philadelphia. Stop talking about you run Philly. I heard all that. Did you see that, Donnie? All these tweets going out like this is a battle.
Yeah, were they talking about because they
Philadelphia.
have four players from Philadelphia? Was that the tweet? It wasn't.
No,
Not
they
many
were
people
like
care about Penn State basketball anyway in
no, there
Philadelphia.
were legitimate tweets from like their media and like Twitter accounts, like, "Oh, we run Philadelphia." Like, no, you don't. You're in Pitt. We could get to Washington D.C. quicker than we can get to Penn State. What's up with that? I guess maybe just because they have four players from the city, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that's all about. They're closer to DC than they are to Penn State or Philadelphia. Let's move on. Florida beat St. Bonaventure. Bonaventure didn't play well last night.
Out of
Didn't shoot the
gas.
ball well at all. Uh, and look, I mean, Florida. This is one of the games where they played well. This was a big one for them, and they came in and got the job done. Bonaventure was down, I think, 4 at halftime, shooting 25%. So you're thinking, okay, cool. But then they come out and get down 7-0 in the second half, and it's like, well, there you go.
Yeah, Jeff, you're seeing a buy on today as well because you have that one theory, which a lot of people like to see. So, you know what? The team that won, a la St. Bonaventure, went out and got gassed. But I mean, that's a completely different team they played from UCLA to a really good defensive guard play team in Florida that was sitting and waiting from the SEC, which looks like to be one of the more formidable conferences at this point. Now you see one of the games popping up here, Jeff, Syracuse and TCU, which opened up at 4. Now you're seeing 5s across the board trying to get that MO like, well, they played 2 nights before. They flew out late at night. They're tired. They don't have rest. We'll see if that plays out and is one of those betting advantages for the public there.
Let's get into today's action. I'm sure it'll be more wild than even yesterday. What do we got, Donnie, on the card today?
Yeah, let's bring up a couple of these here, Jeff. Bucknell versus Michigan State. We're going to take a look at that game first. Looks like we have about 6,000 tickets that have been tracked in that one. 67%, Jeff, are weighing in here, betting on the Michigan State Spartans. Opened up at 14 and a half. Bet online, Jeff, now currently showing a 13 and a half. So that number is coming down a little bit. But the over-under, Jeff, opened up at 147 and a half. That now hitting around 150, 149. So that is moving up. And no surprise, Jeff, usually when you think about these teams, Patriot League teams or Northeastern Conference teams, they like to run their offense and slow it down. Jeff, Bucknell, that's not the case.
No. Bucknell's going to go up and down. The question you have for Bucknell is on defense, were they the team we saw, obviously in their conference, they're going to be a lot better defensively because they're just better than everyone else in that conference. But if you look at them in their step-up games, they didn't play well. I mean, they had trouble all season, whether it was UNC or Arkansas or VCU, whoever they played. When they stepped up in competition, they struggled. I mean, they're going to give points up. They're not this like stout defensive team that's just going to, score 80 and only give up 65, and it's going to be a real firefight with them. They're very talented, though. Nana Fallon's a great player down low, but if you look at kind of his matchup, he's going to struggle probably against Jaron Jackson, who's one of the better defenders in the country. Nick Ward. This is a different kind of team that they've faced. I mean, this is the best team they're going to face all season. They have a great point guard in Zach Brown. They're talented. Nathan Davis is a good team here. And this is exactly the type of team that has given Michigan State trouble. Michigan State, Donnie, it's not that they're not talented. It's not that they're not, impressive. They are, but for bettors, they have not been impressive. They don't cover the spread very often. They're 15 and 17 this year. They've lost money for their backers. They're not good as a favorite, and they're not particularly good in NCAA tournament games over the season. They win, but do you trust them covering 13, 14 points here? Over the last 5 games, they've struggled, but that's null and void because we're in a whole new time of the year. So I don't think that's very important. Bucknell is the kind of team that can hang around. Do I think they'll win? No, I don't. Gun to my head, it's not going to be on my card, but I would probably lean with Bucknell. I think they're talented enough to hang around, but they could have a lot of trouble down low in this game because Fallon's a good player, but when you're stepping up, you look at the game against UNC as a prime example early in the season. They hung around for most of that game, but they did give up 93 points. They're going to have to score points in this game, which they can do. Michigan State doesn't cover the number very often.
Jeff, 863, 864. University of Maryland, Baltimore County is going to take on Virginia in this one. Looks like it's going to be a point, I want to say slugfest, maybe for one side. 121 and a half. Bet online is now currently showing up as the number. Line opened up, Jeff, 22 and a half, 23, depending where you're shopping. But now backing down back again to bet online at minus 20. A little bit of juice on there at minus 113. Another one, Jeff, we've talked about this situation, and usually comes up with Virginia every time we talk, Jeff. You're laying 20 points in a game that's minus 120. So you're not going to get a lot of swings at the back. But Virginia, very efficient on offense. If they just put the screws to you, they're going to do it the entire game and slowly widen that lead. But I know when you look at the opposite side, how do you hang around when you're getting 20 or so points, Jeff? Shoot the 3, have a couple snipers on your team. Baltimore County does have a couple snipers from 3. How do you see that playing out here in this game today?
Yeah, Baltimore County definitely does have a couple guys. KJ Mara, Jarius Lyles. But again, this is the best defense they're going to face. And, even the best teams Virginia makes look stupid. And yeah, that's what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to make 3-point shots to hang around. They're going to have the opportunity because you're not going to have a game in the 80 possession mark. You're going to have They have to be efficient. They have to be. They have to try to be, they have to get some of the loose balls. They can't miss free throws. That's going to be the difference between this game covering and not covering. If you can make some free throws, if you can go 12 for 16 from the line and hit 10 threes, you can hang in this game because Virginia they don't give you a ton of possessions. So the possessions you do have, you cannot waste. Listen, if they turn the ball over more than 10 times, they'll get blown out. That can't happen. But Donnie, and also, I mean, getting 20 or more points, usually you don't cover. Most of the time, these are blowouts. You look at yesterday. I have a feeling, Donnie, this will be kind of like that Radford Villanova game yesterday. I, I could see UMBC maybe hanging a little bit better than Radford did. But at the end of the day, it was a 26-point win for Villanova. They took their feet off the gas. The problem that Virginia will have here, if you're UMBC, they'll take their feet off the gas, but even their backups are good defenders.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, they don't really stop. They always are going. They're always hard. They want to play defense to the end of the game. Um, but I do think they're going to miss out on some offense with Hunter. I think he's one of their better offensive guys. He comes in, gives them a lift offensively. Um, with the amount of possessions that they have in games, it's not usually it's not something I want to lay at 21. Gun to my head, I would take UMBC. I think they will cover the game just because it's hard to cover 21 points when you only have 60 possessions. Um, I'm gonna go to the wind and think that Lyles can give you 25 and hit a couple threes and they can hang here. You're gonna have to make shots. I think they can make a decent amount of them.
You know what, Jeff? You bring up a really good point on that. When you take a look at this game with Virginia and Virginia's style of play, let's go back to football season, Jeff, college football season. Your favorite academies out there. It doesn't matter what the score is at the end of the game if you're playing Navy or Army, Jeff. Why? Because they run the same offense regardless of time or score. It doesn't matter. There's no real running out the clock with Virginia because they run out the damn clock every time they have the ball in their possession and they're still going to get a good shot. That is definitely some good food for thought there, Jeff.
Yeah, keep in mind, Donnie. I mean, this is a UMBC team. They're around 40% from the 3-point line.
Yes.
And when you
Yes.
want, when you, and here's the difference between Radford, because they're kind of similarly in a similar situation here. You're playing a very good team, a number one seed. Radford has Carleek Jones, who's a freshman. Okay. I'm not saying he's a great player, but he's not necessarily the kind of guy you want against Villanova because he's never seen a team like that. He's inexperienced. Jarius Lyles and Mora are both seniors. I don't think they're going to be scared to play this game. I think it's reasonable to say they can hang here. Just because without Hunter, with the limited possessions, I would take a shot with Virginia. And it's not, UMBC is not. They're actually in a decent spot because they're only going to North Carolina. It's not a particularly tough travel schedule either. I think they can hang. I think it's like I don't know, 70 to 52 type of game. I think that's what it'll end up being. They'll hang towards the end and cover the number.
Jeff, next game up, I know you're very interested in 891, 892, and 9:55 p.m. tonight. Tip off on Friday night. New Mexico State and Clemson neutral court line opened up at 5.5. Bet online now showing a 4.5. So it looks like the money is real, Jeff. I have 73% of those tickets lining up on New Mexico State. So it looks like some good money pushing that number lower. Over under opened up at 133, 133.5. That hasn't changed that much, Jeff. Give me a matchup advantage because I know you've talked down Clemson all year long with their coaching, and I know you're high on New Mexico State in this game. What are the advantages that New Mexico State is going to have over Clemson to see if they could possibly even win in an upset here?
This is just a bad matchup for Clemson. It's a terrible matchup because you're facing a team that is very experienced, a team that is very good defensively. I mean, they're, to me, Donnie, one of the better defensive teams in this tournament. I mean, I put them up there, and I know that you won't, give them the credit, but I put them up there right with other, Virginia, Cincinnati, all those teams. They're really, really good defensively. And what they do is they defend in the pick and roll. They're very good in the pick and roll. And that's what they have decided to run at Clemson this year. Grantham's down. Okay, so he's out. You look at this team, New Mexico State. They literally have kind of what you want as an upset kind of team. They have point guards that can handle the basketball. They have a big in Jamario James that is very Ben Wallace-esque, Dennis Rodman-esque, very good on the rebound boards, good defensively. Lofton's come in from Texas Southern and given them that go-to scorer late in the game. Eli Chua can handle the basketball. You have some depth there. This is a team, Donnie, over the years that has done a great job on the boards. You remember Pascal Siakam? He was one of the best rebounders in
Mhm.
the country when he was at New Mexico State. He's now in the league with the Toronto Raptors. They rebound the basketball down at New Mexico State. They're well coached. I just think this is a bad matchup for the Clemson Tigers. I don't have a lot to really go with. I think the one knock here, and uh, something I want to bring up. One of the chatters mentioned it. New Mexico State not a particularly good foul shooting team. 64%, not good, and a lot of that has to do with their bigs. Jamario Jones and AJ Harris only shoot it at 54 and 55%. You need the ball in the hands of Endear or Lofton. That's a concern for me in this game. If I have one, that's it. I guess we just got to hope they're winning this game late and it won't matter a ton. But I think they're going to win. So, hopefully it doesn't, the 5.5 won't matter or whatever the number is, 4.5, 5. It won't matter. I'm going to go New Mexico State. I think schematically they match up very well with Clemson.
Jeff, Q's TCU 875, 876, 94. Another late tip here. 59% of those numbers coming in, backing the Syracuse Orange. 136. The line opens up. Bet online still showing a 136.5. Looks like -4, -4.5, the early opening number. There are still some 4.5s, but the majority of the lines, Jeff, are sitting there at 5. Syracuse plays that grimy game, the matchup zone in this instance. TCU probably had a little bit more time to get ready for it. They are rested. But again, are we just going to talk about, Jeff? Oh my God, the Big 12 is so tough this year. I'm just going to lean on taking the Big 12 over the team that shouldn't be in the tournament. 5 is around that line, that demarcation line that says, you know what? Even if they hang around and they have the ability to hit the late 3, what are you seeing out of this game? Is there any lag from Syracuse for playing in Dayton, taking the plane out, and then playing another day and a half later, which you saw not so good for the Bonnies?
Yeah, I think that's maybe, going forward, maybe something you want to look at and maybe just bet against. Syracuse had a great game in round one and played their hearts out, but now you have to figure out what you're going to do depth wise because you don't have a ton of it if you're Syracuse. TCU, it seems like they lost the luster a bit when they lost Jalen Fisher, but they ended up making the tournament. Remember, they didn't make it last year, ended up winning the NIT, so they do have a bit of a chip on their shoulder. Both these teams have chips on their shoulders. But I just am a little concerned with the depth concerns here. The zone very good, and TCU, I think they can shoot over it. I think Brazzianski will be a big problem to deal with down low. I just want to go with TCU here, just because I think they will make maybe a run, maybe win a game or two here, get a little back from last year. I don't like the depth concerns here, especially after seeing Bonaventure last night. They look like they just kind of ran out of steam here, playing basically a day and a half later.
Last up on the board, Jeff, Providence versus Texas A&M, 867, 868. That's going to get us started for the day, Jeff. 12:15 Eastern time tip. 70% of those tickets are backing Providence. Some interesting line movement. Opened up around that 3.5, 4 range, Jeff. I did see it dip to as low as 2.5, but now you're getting some buyback here on Texas A&M. Looks like pretty much 3 and double juice in some spots across the board. Bet online showing -3, -113 with the number here. It's one of those games, Jeff, where I never get a clear read on which Texas A&M team I'm going to get. But I know when you head into the tournament, the teams that you like to back, you like good free throw shooting teams. The bigs on Texas A&M are god awful at shooting from the free throw line, and they handle a lot of the play from possession to possession in the game. I don't know if you want to back them. I know Providence, that Big East team, used to being in those slugfests here. I don't have a good read on Texas A&M all year long. I didn't even cap this game because I can't get a feel on Texas A&M. What are you looking at in this game possibly?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I mean, you have a team with Ed Cooley's Providence that are very good guard wise, and you have a team in Texas A&M who, big wise is very good. They rebound the ball, particularly offensively very well. Um, this is a tough game because the public likes Providence here. I, I think it's the toughest game of the tournament, really. I think it's a total coin flip because I like both sides. I like things about both. I think Providence is a bit better equipped, overall. I think they're well coached there. I like Cooley a lot. Guard play usually wins in these tournaments. I really am just going to go with whoever's getting points. It's not a game I'd be particularly interested in betting. I think it'll be a decent game. Do I think there's a pronounced side, maybe like for a lot of people yesterday in that Rhode Island Oklahoma game? No. public coming in on Providence, but I gotta almost agree. I think guard plays kind of my difference here, but I don't have much. I don't. I wouldn't go off a ton off the opinion I just gave.
No, I mean, we'll have fun to go. The good part about this is get started just about right away in about what, maybe hour and a half at this point. So we'll be hitting that game right off the bat at 12:15. Jeff, why don't we flip it down here? We'll get out of here in a couple minutes. Some off-topic stuff just to talk about. NFL action, Jeff. Crabtree or Jordy for the Raiders? The reason I brought that up there is I think Crabtree overall, to me, Jeff, is a better wide receiver than Jordy Nelson, and you paid about the same. Crabtree gets cut out of Oakland. Jordy Nelson to the Raiders, getting about $15 million guaranteed for the old man. What do you think about that move?
Well, I mean, listen, I mean, he's got to stay healthy. I mean, he's a pretty productive guy if he's in there, but you got to wonder, will he stay healthy? And B, he's never been with anyone else. I mean, him and Aaron Rodgers were he kind of made Jordy Nelson look maybe better than he was. That's a concern. I'm just kind of numb on it. I mean, why not just keep Crabtree? I don't know. But
next up, you have Tom Benson dies.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
You go ahead. No, yeah,
No,
I actually thought Jordy Nelson was going to be on like a 1-year show me deal, like $1 million or $1.5 million. I'm surprised he actually got what he got. Tom Benson dies down in New Orleans, Jeff, the owner of the New Orleans Saints and also the Hornets. The reason I bring this up, Jeff, if you have been watching over the years, money destroys just about everything, it seems. Tom Benson, obviously mogul, billionaire, owns a few teams. If you haven't been noticing, his wife, his ex-wife, the kids are all fighting like vultures for the past 5 years because as he got up there in age, Alzheimer's sets in. He's not really thinking clearly enough. People are trying to persuade him, have him write stuff down on like cocktail napkins and try to have it like, my daughter will get the Saints when I die, like all this stuff going in. What a shame. Benson is the man, saved New Orleans sports there, and it's a shame to see his family just fighting like, vultures over a carcass.
That's how it goes, man. When you die, when you get older, man, everybody comes out of the woodwork. Everyone wants to be a part of thing. Yeah, I mean, Tom Benson was, I don't know, how old was this guy? 90.
90?
Listen,
Yeah, lived a good life.
When I hate to be rude here, but when someone's 90 and they die, look, they lived a nice life. 90 years old. Like that woman yesterday in the Loyola game. Was she 98? By the way, Donnie, she sounded like she was 40. Have you
Yeah,
seen
clear
a
mind,
90-year-old
man.
cat?
Clear
I mean,
mind.
98 years old, bruv. She was like very astute, man. Like I've never seen a 98-year-old that like Donnie, my great grandpa, my mother's father was 106 when he died. That's I remember. Yeah, I remember seeing him when he died. He was so old, man. He was a boxer when he was younger, and he's very healthy in mind, body, and soul. Kind of the opposite of me, really. I'm not really happy. I'm not really fit, my body and soul, but he was, and he was very sharp back when he was, around. And you know, life. I think we realize with life is truly a crapshoot, Donnie. You could be incredibly unhealthy all your whole life. He was a boxer. He got hit in the head a lot. Lived to 106. I have a great uncle. He's in his 80s now. It would be my mother's uncle. This guy, I'm not kidding you, Donnie, smoked like a fucking it chain smoking. This guy smoked literally 3 packs a day, probably. You go in his house. I used to dread going in his house when I was a kid because like my mother would make us go there on like Halloween and they'd give us like candy. The candy literally reeked of cigarettes. Like you'd go in there for 2 minutes, you smelled like a fucking ashtray. And this guy lived till he was 85. This guy, Tom Benson. I mean, who knows how healthy he was? He lives till 90. It's truly a crapshoot, Donnie. Life. I mean, you never know what's going to happen to you, or what. Look at that lady yesterday. I mean, what an astute lady. I was happy to hear that. Nice little story there. I wish I would have known stuff like that before the fucking tournament because I probably wouldn't have bet on it.
Yep, divine intervention, Jeff. The last thing we're going to end here with is I just want to rail a little bit. I mean, college, they usually do it right in the tournaments. But I'm watching these games from Boise, Jeff, and you can't tell me that they didn't know this ahead of time and know how it would play out. What the hell is with the camera angle in the Boise games? And who in their right mind? I get it. It's Boise State. It's blue and it's orange. They want to have the home court do that. But you can't have that camera angle and have the one section be orange that matches the rim. Every time somebody pulls up for a three in Boise, Jeff, I have no idea if it's even tracking the rim or looking good. Awful decision. And a lot of big-time games were played out there, which I was forced to watch this ridiculous camera angle.
Yeah, I don't. You mentioned this. I don't know that I necessarily saw what you're talking about, but maybe I'll look today and try to see what you're
Yeah,
talking
look
about.
today.
Uh, yeah, I didn't really
Or
necessarily
I
see it.
think it's tomorrow.
What
I
do
don't
you,
think there's any games. I don't think there's
are
any
you?
games today, but you'll see it
Okay, yeah,
tomorrow.
tomorrow then. Okay, so you're talking about the higher angle. Okay, I got you.
The
You'll
high, it's
see.
almost like you're watching the all 12s or something like that. It was really like a, and I couldn't believe because it's not like you're playing. Sometimes, Jeff, when you see like a high school basketball game where ESPN produces it, you get that angle because you're only like 5 feet of sideline. But this is a regular arena. I didn't understand the camera angle.
Yeah, I also am not a huge fan with of the orange paint either. Because when the ball kind of
Yeah.
disappears around that. I don't know. I think yeah, I definitely see what you're saying now. Um, yeah. Also, who was the Brad Nessler does basketball now? What's
You
that
got to
all
get a
about?
lot of people out there, Jeff. Yeah, you got to get
Like
a
him
lot
and
of people
Steve
for these
Lavin
games.
are pretty much unlistenable. I can't listen to either of them. They're pretty bad, both of them. But Donnie, that'll wrap up the show today.
Yep.
Hope everyone has a great betting day and March Madness. Hopefully you enjoy the games today. As far as what I'll be on, it'll be out a little bit. Donnie, you'll have your games out. Uh, any pressing news you want to give out before we hang out here?
No, no pressing news that, hey, maybe I won't watch the games I bet on. Actually, yesterday with the Rhode Island game, did the right thing. Went out and hit the gym in the second half. Came back home with the last 30 seconds on. Saw them tumble into overtime. Then I took the dog out for a walk, Jeff, and the walk was good. Rhode Island won. Didn't watch it.
Let's go Tiger Woods. Hopefully he can get back and take the lead today out at the Arnold
Yes.
Palm. How many
Yeah, make
Arnold
sure you tweet
Palmers?
me too, Jeff. Yeah, make sure you tweet me, Jeff.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, that got lost in transition. I was not saying fuck Donnie. I was just saying
That's how
I
I took it, Jeff. That is
I
exactly
should have
how I
just
took it.
I should have just did well. I was trying to do it in a way where it was this is what Tiger's thinking right now as he makes this putt under his breath. He's saying fuck off, Donnie. You know, with that laugh, the smirk, like that. That was if I had little chat bubbles, I would have made them, and it would have been above his face. Other than that, Donnie, I want to commemorate myself, and I know we're about to jump off here. Donnie, I need 100. I need actually 211 followers to get to 10,000. Let's make it happen by the end of the weekend. What do you say? When we lose Donnie, right at that point,
Right at
everyone have
that
a great
point.
night. We have a great night. Everyone have a great night. Thanks to Johan for producing. We'll be back tomorrow. Me, Donnie, Ian, Cameron. We'll be doing the closing line. Special edition tournament action. We'll break all the games down. Join us 11 o'clock a.m. Thanks, Johan, for producing. Have a great weekend. Bye bye.